Alrighty, so it is May 23rd. Going to do a video today on basically irrigation schedule, stuff like that. So I've had a lot of questions about my irrigation schedule in general. You know, when do I water, all that, and the truthful answer is I do not have an irrigation schedule. A lot of you guys has seen this right here before. That is a TDR 350. That is a moisture meter, and this is what determines for me when I need to water and when I need to, you know, hit dry spots, hand water. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk around the yard here, and we're gonna check some spots. Gonna check some spots that I know that typically gets dry. It ought to be getting pretty close. Hasn't rained in several days now, and it's been kind of windy, and we're in a cold front, so windy and lower humidity, so it's getting close. So we'll check it here. This is real time checking it, and see if it's going to need it or what. So tomorrow, which will be Saturday the 24th, again, it's supposed to be low humidity and a little windy, sunny. So if it's fairly close, I'm going to go ahead and run irrigation. So what I'm looking for with this right here is a certain percent moisture. Now this comes with a chart. And let me say this, let me back up and say this. No, you do not have to have this. This is 100% not necessary, especially for a yard, but I got it, so I'm going to tell you about it, and I'm going to show you how it works and what determines when I'm going to run my irrigation. So this comes with a chart, which is a water holding capacity. My soil it's a sandy clay soil. I know that because I've done texture tests on a soil test, Waypoint Analytics. So it's a sandy soil, sandy clay. So this has got a setting on it, and I go by that setting. Actually, the setting I have it on is clay. That I could probably put it on average, but I put it on clay, and that actually keeps me a little bit on the drier side, because everybody knows, you know, clay will typically hold a little bit of moisture more than something like a silt or especially definitely sand. So it keeps me from really overwatering, having on this clay set, and then I know the moisture level that I need to go by before, when I start, you know, irrigation. So what I'm looking for when I do irrigation is somewhere around 22-23%. I think the wilting point for this is about 18, and the max water holding capacity is up in the 30s. I can't remember for sure, but so if I'm 22 or 23%, I'm gonna initiate irrigation. If I'm not anywhere close to that, and I've got some dry spots like I'm getting ready to show you, then I'll just hand water these dry spots. Like it typically gets dry right here on this edge, so stick her down in there and take the first reading. So we're 26.4, so it's not really dry, not even necessary. 24.3, so that's getting borderline. Bear with me, I gotta get this down in here. 22.2, so we're getting fairly dry here. $26.9. So we'll go out here Right here, this spot stays kind of moist right here for some reason. I don't know why, but it is more the, it's a 32.3. And I just go around all the yard, you know. I don't do every square inch of it or something like that, but I do, you know, walk several places and check, and then check my known dry spots that gets drier faster. It's 29.2. It used to be kind of dry over here when this tree was over here because it blocked irrigation, but I ain't so sure it's like that anymore. No. So yeah, the irrigation used to hit the tree trunk and it would block a lot of the irrigation over there. So we'll go over here at this tree. This is typically starts to get dry right here in this area. So we're at 26% there, and then right down in here, it's 25.8. 24.8. So we're right there at it, guys. This is going to be a decision whether I'm going to water tonight or not. 29.1, that's in the shade. Typically gets pretty dry right here. Not too bad. And I'll walk down in there, but I'm not going to do it in this video. You guys are getting an idea of what's going on here. This area right here, it doesn't get any sun except for this time of day, so it stays shady about all day. It's probably pretty good, but there's something in the ground there. It's a 32.5. Right here, even though it's a shady area most of the day, this big maple tree right here, the roots run right way out here, so it does get a little bit dry here on the edge. So we're at 25.6. So we'll go over here and do the Kentucky bluegrass. More than likely, I probably am going to go ahead and hit the water, simply because tomorrow is going to be pushing it. It's supposed to be sunny tomorrow, and it's going to be pushing it right there on the borderline of needing it and not needing it tomorrow. And then the issue is Sunday. There's a small chance late in the afternoon. It's supposed to be kind of cloudy, so I don't really want to water Sunday morning and it be cloudy all day, and it's going to be pushing it anyway tomorrow. Those, you know, 26s and 27s and even 28s, they'll be down to 25 and 22 tomorrow more than likely. So I'm probably going to go ahead and water tonight. So we'll check this Kentucky bluegrass, see what it comes up with here. It's a 29.4. Now I did actually hand water some spots on this morning. I didn't run irrigation, but I did hand water some spots. So we're at 22.9 here, closer to this edge. 21.5. There's the spot that changes color magically, if you can see it. Other videos, that's where it water runs off, runs right down in here to this spot. We should be on it right now. So we're gonna check it again right here to see what the moisture level is in this spot versus, look at there. You go right over here where the water don't run off. Look at there, 19.1. So this is definitely, other than that spot right there, it's gonna be time for some water on this one also, for sure on this one. Obviously it's cut a lot lower, so .5, so that will yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and run the irrigation, all of it. I bought this some time hand watering it yesterday, them edges, because it simply didn't really need it out in there much, but it's dropped a little bit. So this is how I do it, guys. You know, I'm always trying to be transparent with you. Again, no, you don't need this. Look at there, 17.8, close to this edge. You don't need this. You know, I'm used to this. I use it in the golf industry. Obviously, you know, golf greens are sandy based soil, most of them, unless they're, well, all of them eventually turn to sandy based unless they're push-up greens. But USGA spec greens, they're, you know, they're extremely sandy based, and it's a different moisture level reading for, you know, greens and stuff like that. But we won't get into that. But so by no means, no, you do not need that. I'm just, you know, I don't have any kids. I'm just trying to explain, I don't have any kids. I don't have a house payment, so I can buy these toys that I've used, you know, used before. And it don't bother me to do that. If I had kids or something, then obviously it would be a lot tighter spending money on stuff like this, especially as expensive as this is. I mean, you're looking at, you know, $1,600 for this. So, but what I will do is I'll take you in there. Like I said, I don't have an irrigation schedule, but I'll show you what my irrigation, you know, how long it runs for and stuff, and explain that to you. So let me add this in here also. I always forget to put this in. The whole idea of me using that moisture meter, a lot of people's probably gonna make fun of it, but whatever. Let me explain myself. I think anybody that's really big into turf, or, you know, their yard in general, your goal is to keep it looking as pristine as possible, the best you can. So that's just a tool. You know, I don't want my grass to wilt, start turning blue. I want to catch that before it happens, and that's what that moisture meter does. You know, I've got 31,000 square feet of turf, and I'm trying to keep it all as pristine as possible. All of it that is treated, that I actually treat and irrigate. So that, you know, that's the reason why I use that, is I'm trying to catch it before it happens, and that allows me to do that. You know, it also allows me to manage water usage better. You know, I'm on a well. I'm on a very good well. I'm blessed with a very, very good well, but I don't want to waste water. I mean, you know, that's not, you know, I could just say, you know, you just need to water. Basically, you know, that's the way a lot of people does. It's time to water. Well, with that, I'm checking to see if I need to water, if I need to run irrigation, or if I need to go out and hand water hot spots. And I don't have an issue with that. you know, I'll drag the hose out there and hand water them hot spots if the rest don't need it. And then, you know, I'll go to my normal job. I'll do it early in the morning and go to my normal job. So, it's just work. It don't bother me. I mean, I'm used to doing stuff like this. So, you know, again, that's the purpose of me using the moisture meter. To find problems before they happen. And, you know, that's the same way on the golf course. You know, we'll go out and check greens. If the moisture level is not where we want it, then we hand water the spots. If the whole green needs it, then, you know, it's time for irrigation. It's the same purpose. The same purpose with my yard. If I'm trying to manage this the best way I can, and that's a tool to do that with. So, all right. But anyway, I just want to explain that, and I'll go in there now and I'll show you my run times on my irrigation. Remember, I don't have a schedule, but folks is wanting to see the run times, and I guess so that's what I'll show you. So hang tight. All right, so I'm back in here and I'm looking at my computer. My irrigation controller is a Hunter ACC2. It's a commercial irrigation controller. It doesn't have an app on your phone. I do it off of Hunter Centralis website. So when I run my irrigation, this is my schedule. It comes on at 2:30, and I have 3 start times, and it runs 6.1 hours. And the last start time is 6:34, and it ends like 8:40 or something like that in the morning. So you can see, obviously I'm on a well, so I call it the well house where my pump is. But you see it says block. So with this controller, that area, that's the Kentucky bluegrass area. It's actually 2 zones. There's one on the upper side and one on the lower side. But with this controller, I can set it up in blocks, and I can run 2 zones at one time, or I can run 3, 4, 5. I can run 16 zones at one time if I had enough water. I've got enough water for basically 2 zones at one time on certain zones. So that's one, it's a block. And then the front row, that's 7 heads. So you can see the run times. There's another block. I call it front, top, and back. There's actually 9, 10, 11. There's actually 12 heads on that zone. And there's another block, wash house. Now let me explain that. Remember, I live on an old farm. This is before washing machines. So they used to take the clothes down there to that little building, and they call it the wash house. This is my grandparents' old place. So that's where they used to wash clothes. But, so that's one block. So I've actually got 13 zones, but with 3 blocks, I've only got 10. So that just cuts my irrigation time down tremendously doing it like that. And, you know, I mean, I know how many gallons per minute my well pump will do. It's not, the well pump's not the limiting factor. The limiting factor on my system is it's not the main line, it's the lateral line. It's only 1 inch. My main line's 1.5 inches. And once you start going over quite a bit of like 18, 20 gallons a minute, you get a lot of pressure loss. So maybe I'll explain all that in another video. But so I'll go up here. I can monitor my flow right here. Let's see, the last time I watered was the 7th. So 5/7. Right there, I use 6,041 gallons on an irrigation cycle. And it'll show real-time flow on sensor 1, how many gallons per minute it's flowing. So, But that's it, guys. I don't have an irrigation schedule. Like I said, I showed you I use that moisture meter. Some of you guys might laugh at that. That's completely fine. My goal is to not have spots wilting and turning blue. I mean, why? The goal is to keep your grass as nice as possible. Or that's my goal. So, if I can catch it ahead of time before it starts turning blue, then I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do to, keep it looking as good as I can keep it looking. So if it's low on moisture and I don't have to water everything, I'll go out there and hand water it. It's just work. It's not anything to me. It's nothing new. So I'll pull a hose and I'll go out there and give those spots a little soaking and go on into work. I do it before I go to work. So anyway, again, I want to thank you guys for all the support purchasing these products that I sell. It means a lot to me. So if you want any of the plant food or the lawn guide or the Apex seeds, primetimefescue.com. I appreciate it a tremendous amount. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.